I guess there is a God. And what I mean by that, obviously, I'm joking here. The Metropolitans came out tonight and they decided to play Compton baseball. They had offense, they had pitching, they had it all. And that's what we'll be breaking down in the latest edition of the WardyNYM postgame show. Appreciate everyone watching live or on replay. And more than anything, before we break down the game inning by inning, before I share my initial thoughts and reactions to this game and answering your comments in the live chat per usual, spam those W's in the live chat. It's been a hot minute. We actually have a player of the game to discuss. It feels like the first time in a year. I mean, you know the meme when you see from Titanic, the woman's like, it's been 84 years. That's how it feels. We haven't done a player of the game segment on the channel in so effing long. And that is because, again, the Mets have not been good. They've been anything but good. We've talked over the past 48 hours on how this season is unofficially dead. And thankfully, they decided to wake up a little bit. I don't know if that's because Steve Cohen has his presser prior to tomorrow's game or what. But what I do know is that they finally had something in unison, finally something to be happy about. At least go to bed with a smile on your face for a change if you're a Mets fan like me. So a lot to get into, a lot to break down, plenty of offense, really good pitching. David Peterson, who would have thought his ERA might be at 7, but at least he gave the Mets 6 shutty that we'll be getting into and getting some Houdini magic in there that we saw in the first to escape a jam. But again, more than anything, appreciate everyone for chiming in. Make sure to smash those W's. And again, you know what I appreciate? The viewership I know is going to be much different tonight. We've been spiking in viewership a lot over the past couple of days because Mets fans like to feed off of misery, and opposing fans, if you're a Braves fan, if you're a Phillies fan, if you're a Yanks fan, if you, whoever you're a fan of and you don't like the Mets, you like to chime in, eat your popcorn, and enjoy the segment of me either ranting or me just having my heart broken because this team has done that to me. So for all the OGs watching right now, because I know we got 100 plus rolling in, really appreciate that. I know you guys are OGs, and I know you guys chime in through the wins and the losses, so know that's appreciated. I know that I really do appreciate you guys. Wardy, I want a shirt TW. Jacob, I will gladly hook you up at some point. Yeah, we did a shirtsy giveaway, and this is why it's imperative for you guys to be following me on Twitter at WardyNYM, because not a couple days ago, it was yesterday. Justin Verlander, I tweet out, if JV goes 7 innings, and I'm not going to lie, I purposely tweeted that because I knew that the likelihood of JV going 7 innings was just about as likely as, I don't know, like me winning the lottery tomorrow. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. And I said, all you had to do was like my tweet for your chance to enter. Had over, 1,500 likes. Unfortunately, JV didn't go past. JV won 5 innings yesterday on 100 pitches of scoreless innings. David Peterson, if he could even give the Mets 5, I would have been happy. So I tweeted out today, okay, if DP goes 5 innings, I'll give a shirtsy, which is a shirt jersey, combination. You know what it is, right? To one lucky winner that I randomized and picked through site. The winner has been chosen, so very happy for her. But it's just funny, it's like you set the bar low and it finally hit. I think that was my 4th or 5th time this season on Twitter just tweeting out. Even when I was at the game, when I was behind home plate for Mets Yankees Subway Series with JV on the bump, I had my little mini mic on me and I said, if JV goes at least, what was it? Was it 6? Or maybe it was if he won 7 that I would have gave away his shirts. And of course I didn't hit. So finally it hit. And again, I know we do giveaways on the channel, but if you guys want to enter in giveaways that I do at random times last minute on social media, then make sure you're following the Twitter page already if you haven't. But we got a lot to talk about in Mets land as the Mets again take game 2 of a 4-game set, not a 3-game set, a 4-game set here against the Milwaukee Brewers by a final score of 7-2. Thanks to Brandon Nimmo. Thanks to Danny effing Burgers. Thanks to Francisco Lindor, who's hitting much better from the left side of the plate. Everyone was contributing tonight. David Peterson, who I was anything but excited to see on the bump today. I would be lying if I said I was. As someone that was a huge supporter of David Peterson last year, that really appreciated him eating his innings. Whether he came in as a reliever or that starter when the Mets needed, he was nails for the Mets a lot last year in key matchups, even if it was against lesser clubs. And even if, say, he struggled by time he faced the third turn in the order. Regardless, Peterson, the expectations we had with him heading into this year were certainly strong to a degree, and he's been anything but good. So the Mets rush him up because they need a roster spot after sending down Tyler McGill to work on his command, something that he struggled with since spring training that all of us know if you've been following along with this Metropolitan club. And David Peterson comes out today, guys, and without breaking down things inning by inning just yet, let's appreciate David Peterson's greatness tonight. Can we just appreciate 6 innings of 0 earned run ball, 5 hits allowed, 3 walks, 5 5 strikeouts, a smooth 7 ERA. I think that's a lucky 7. That's not only my favorite number, but that is a number of Peterson's ERA right now. And I know that might be comical after pitching 6 shutty, but that just shows you how much this guy has struggled so far this season. So to see him get this type of confidence booster after being called up is absolutely massive. So big shout out to DP for getting the job done. And we saw the Houdini magic that he pulled there in the first inning today. Bases loaded, 1 out. He gets a huge double play to end the inning. He's juiced up. He's pumped up. And I'm pumped for him too. Peterson, I've said it time and time again. I think when it comes to pure stuff in their arsenal, Peterson is one of the better pitchers in this entire staff. I love the slider, whether it's a back foot slider or whatever it is. Love it. I love his fastball location when it's on, but he has struggled so mightily over the past couple of years. I'm really commanding that zone, especially this year. I mean, he would look rolling for a couple innings, and then bam, he's getting knocked out of the park left and right, whether it's Matt Olson hitting a bomb off of him that we've seen many times, or whatever it may be. He hasn't found that consistency whatsoever, and I know that his mental space has probably not been great since being sent down. I mean, his last start in AAA, I think, was 6 innings of 3 earned run balls. So it's nice to see David Peterson again get the last minute call up and provide a much needed quality start for the Mets. If we define things as a quality start on at least 6 innings of 0 earned run balls. So get a big round of applause to David Peterson today, guys. And while he isn't my player of the game, he certainly is a runner up. And then he had Drew Smith pitching on back-to-back nights, gave the Mets a solid inning. Unlike yesterday where he gave up the 2-run ding-dong to Weimer because he decided to throw a 96-heater right down the pipe. No shit, that's going to happen. But thankfully, Smith was better today. Jeff Brigham struggled again. He allowed 2 runs to score because Mets killer this year and former Miami Marlin and Brian Anderson ripped a 2-run hit there, but thankfully that's all she wrote. Dominic Leone struck out the side in the 9th, so thank you, Dominic. You're not necessarily a guy I want to see you in the pen for the remainder of the year, but if you're going to be here and if you're going to pitch, I want you to succeed, so thank you for that. But now let's get into talking about all this, and then we'll get to the player game and stuff. And of course, make sure to smash that like and subscribe on as your first chiming in for the latest post-game show here on WardyNYM. I feel like it's been so few and far in between that we have discussed wins on this channel this year. It has been putrid. Last year we did, if my memory's not mistaken, around 130 post-game shows out of a 162 season, including playoffs, so that short stint in the wild card. Most of those games I covered were wins. And I was spoiled as all hell to talk about the Mets last year. Oh, baby, was it fun for the most part until they had their demise downward spiral towards the end of the season. However, this year, I mean, we're just grateful to get a couple wins. I mean, it's so night and day different. And that's why I'm interested to discuss further with you all on Steve Cohen's comments what they could potentially be tomorrow with the media that he himself tweeted out today. But before I do, of course, have to let you guys know that we have our great sponsors on the channel and the best MLB fantasy game out there that is free to play by clicking the link in the description right now or in the comments on replay for people. That being Sorare MLB. Of course, Mojo Sportsbook, the best sportsbook app that is based out in New Jersey for my New Jersey residents only. And also Manta Sleep, Sleep Mask, but more on them a little bit later in the show because I want to talk a bit more about this Mets game. Let's break it down inning by inning and I appreciate you 300 beauties watching live on a replay right now. Let's talk about it. So again, I don't have a lot to break down from this game. It's just the Mets, they had their great spurts of offense I want to highlight. They had some great moments on defense that I'm going to just take a moment to appreciate Francisco Lindor's greatness. Yes, he hit his 200th bomb of his career tonight, which was great, especially from the left side of the plate. But what I appreciated most was just the absolutely phenomenal plays he was making at short. This is why this guy is one of the best in the biz. This is why when you look at his outs above average, it's at least in the 90th percentile, I'm sure, right now. Last year was in the 99th percentile. The guy is literally nails at shortstop in that spot every single day of the week. So when we've seen him have his mental mess ups of recent on the defensive end, that's how you know that nothing is going right in this Mets manner, in their favor rather, because even really good guys, even a really good defender in Brandon Nimmo in center field has had his hiccups too. So you could see that elite talent still have their own hiccups when things are all going wrong. But Lindor looked like a man who was uber confident tonight. I appreciate him balling out tonight as well with my uncle and cousins in attendance as a Father's Day gift he was granted. He asked me, Tyler, are you going to the game today? Said, no, unfortunately not. I'm not. And I told him, I'm like, I wish you the best of luck with David Peterson on the bump. And thankfully, DP came out and showed out tonight. So you love that. But let's get into the offensive production. What happened this game? Why should we be happy to be talking about the Amazons for a change? Well, it all starts there in the 4th inning, right? The Mets did not have a hit until the 4th inning. The same way until halfway through the game, basically, they didn't have a hit against the freaking Colin Ray. Everyone's very well-renowned right-hander, and I totally didn't know who Carl Ray was until just yesterday. Like, it just cracking me up. The Mets face a former foe, still foe, but used to be a rival in Julio Teheran. For those that don't remember, Julio Teheran used to be a very solid starter in the Atlanta Braves organization in the rotation for a while. Then he's bounced around. I know he was with the LA Angels. I know he was with a couple other spots, trying to fine-tune his game. And in a couple starts this year, he's looked very sharp for the Brewers, albeit a limited sample size of 1.5 ERA or so, but the Mets expose him, and they did exactly what they needed to do against a guy that has 0+ stuff. Nothing personal against Julio, but he's one of many pitchers that the Mets have faced this year that they should absolutely dominate against. So to see the Mets do exactly that is beyond refreshing, to say the least, all while getting competent pitching from a starter that I think most can agree no one expected to perform the way that he did tonight, that being a David Peterson. But in the 4th inning, it starts with Brandon Nimmo with how you doing, see you later bomb, his first of 2 on the night. And not long afterwards, after 1 out, Francisco Lindor rips a home run. He's juiced up. He's looking animated, kind of like he did after ripping not 1, not 2, but 3 bombs in that Subway Series matchup against the Yanks, against Giancarlo Stanton, for that matter, in the 2021 Subway Series, where you had all the Puerto Ricans so hyped that they were jumping on top of the dugout with the Puerto Rican flag, and I absolutely love it. Shout out all my PR people. But it was nice to see Lindor rounding the bases and juiced up. Like, you know that meant something to him, because you know how much of a rut this entire team is in currently. So I was really happy to see that. Shout out Francisco. Mets take an early 2-0 lead there in the 4th. McNeil, again, finally breaks out of a slump, even though, he's still slumping. Let's not get it twisted. That was his only hit of the night. An opposite field infield single. The guy was 0 for 17 entering tonight. He's still pulling the ball like crazy, but at least he went oppo. Would have poked in if it wasn't just a good diving stop there by whoever was defending around short for the Brewers, but thankfully he got there slow, wasn't able to get there in time, and McNeil was safe. As we advance to the 5th inning, Hoagie Vogie, Danny Effin Burgers, whatever you want to call him, potato, he rips his first of multiple hits tonight, that being a single. Then with 2 outs, Brandon Nimmo says, you know what, I'm going to do it again. He rips a 2-run ding-dong. Brandon effing Nimmo is here, baby. He gives the Mets an increased lead at that point, and you absolutely love to see it. They're up 4-0, and it's all thanks to the man like Brandon. So shout out to you, Brandon. Again, huge breakout night for you. Awesome for this Mets offense to get power production out of their leadoff spot. It's always great, something I'm grateful to have happen, seeing that from the leadoff spot thanks to you, Nimmo. So Mets have a 4-0 lead through the first 5 innings. As we get to the 6th, then, with 2 outs, Miller gets a single off of David Peterson. David Peterson escapes a jam, however, and that's why DP's final line, as we mentioned already, is 6 innings of 5 hit, 0 earned run ball, 3 walks, 5 Ks for the beauty on 110 pitches. 110 pitches for David Peterson. Yeah, more of that, please. Thank you very much. As we advance to the bottom of the 6th, Alonso with a hit by pitch. I thought I hit him in the head. I was about to storm all the way to Citi Field from PA right now. Obviously, it would have taken a while, but the proper incentive was certainly there. Thankfully, it didn't hit him in the head, hit him back of the shoulder blade. Just did not look good. Gave me PTSD of when I saw Alonso get drilled in the head. Was I there when that happened in person? I'm trying to think. I think I was, or no, it was at National Series last year, like to begin the year when Mad Max was facing the Nats for the first time as a Met. I was there in D.C. Lindor got drilled in the head that game. Alonso, I know, got hit in the head by, I think it was Cishek. I'm just trying to think if it was that same game or not. Regardless, Alonso got hit. He then takes his base and then takes second base. He steals it back. Why? Because why the hell not? That's why. Tommy Pham then doing what Tommy Pham does. That's by being extra base hits Kane. RBI double drives in another run. The Mets have themselves a 5-0 comfortable lead, hoping it's comfortable there in the 6th inning. And then Danny Effin Burger says, you know what, we're going Oppo Taco with it. And he drives in 2 runs thanks to his multi-run bomb there. Mets have a 7-0 lead. Wow. When was the last time they've had that and didn't blow it? It feels like it's been light years. But thankfully, they would hold on that lead and not look back. In the 7th with 2 outs, Marte and Lindor would have singles back-to-back. They would not score. And then that's where the bullpen came in. It Drew Smith, then Brigham giving up a couple runs, and then Dominic Leone having 1.1 scoreless innings. So you'll love to see that. So very happy with that production. That is exactly why today's player of the game, drum roll please, shouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. That is our good friend and Brandon Nimmo. Again, Brandon with the nukes tonight, not 1 by 2. See you later. How you doing? You out of here. And just like that, the Mets found themselves with a nice, comfortable 7-2 victory. Thanks to the heroism that was Brandon Nimmo today. We're going 2 for 4, going up on that one too. Oh my God. There's nothing more satisfying as a baseball fan, in my opinion. Someone that loved Michael Conforto to death when he was a Met, for example, with his inconsistencies and all, is a lefty batter that knows how to spread the field. That's why when Jeff isn't so pull-heavy minded the way he is this year, like he was last year trying to beat the shift, I love seeing them go oppo. Brett Beatty, all he does is go oppo. I love to see it so much. Like, that is what I appreciate most as a batter. Truly. There's nothing more satisfying to me than seeing a lefty batter go oppo, the most important thing you could possibly see. So again, shout out Brandon Nimmo for being today's player of the game. But now let's get back more into this. Let's talk a little bit more on it. Keep in mind, fool's gold. Well, trust me, I do not think the Mets are winning the World Series after taking this game. I can promise you that much. But as someone that has an obligation to cover the team on a night-to-night basis, the least they could do is actually give me some positivity to discuss, which is what we got ourselves tonight thanks to this 7-2 victory. But as we look through the hitting numbers, as many of you guys see right here, again, the offense was early and it was often, thankfully. They had an expected batting average tonight of 308 to the Brewers, pretty much anemic 189. Mets had 9 hits to the Brewers 7. Brewers struggled mightily with runners in scoring position today, which is huge. And again, look at the offensive production. This is what you want from this team. From Nimmo to Marte, Lindor, Alonso didn't even do anything. It didn't matter. To Pham, Vogelback, and Vogie out of that 5th spot because he should never be batting 5th. Love that in his spot. I mean, he went 0 for 13 after his little hot stretch that we saw recently. Entering tonight's game, he was 0 for his last 13. He broke out big time today, and hopefully we see more of that from Vogie. Again, regardless on if Vogie is on this team past the trade deadline or not, I want to see him succeed, right? Either because I want to see him succeed to be impacting the Mets' success, or I want to see him succeed so that way the Mets can get the best possible value out of him via trade. So either way, it's imperative to see a guy like him produce should he be playing. Beatty went 0 for tonight, but it's okay. Narvaez, same applies. But again, the Mets didn't need them, thankfully, as they will now look to hopefully take a 2-1 series lead tomorrow is it Kodai Singh on the bump tomorrow? Let me double check real quick. See, look at how nice. Look, I know we've had a lot of Braves fans that love to rag, but I appreciate our Braves country in the chat right now saying, I really hope you guys start up now. The Mets are the only true challenge to my Braves. I appreciate that. I don't agree with that. I think the Marlins are a challenge right now because they're a much better team. I think when they're right, the Phillies are the same way that they kicked you guys out of the playoffs last year. But I appreciate the fact that you respect the rivalry, as do I, because there's nothing that I appreciate more in sports than a true rivalry, which is what made the Braves matchup so vital last year. As heartbreaking as it was towards the end, it was still great. The overall experience of being in a heated rivalry where it meant something. You know, like the Mets last year, as great as it was to see them kind of, pardon my French, pistol whip the Phillies, it was great, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it was so lopsided. So lopsided where it's like at a certain point, you're like, yeah, you know, we kicked Phillies' teeth in. Sounds like another day that ends in Y. I feel like that's how Braves fans kind of feel this year with the way the Mets have been performing. Like, yeah, we kicked the Mets' teeth in the worst way imaginable, all tight games, and we won every single game after losing by 3 or more runs. And, you know, yeah, you know, it just isn't as fun anymore because the Mets suck. So, like, I can see where they're coming from, if that makes sense. I also see that we got ourselves a new channel member. Thank you so much. And Chris, appreciate the membership. Apologies that it says DeGoat membership. I still need to update that. I'm an ass. I apologize. Chris says, where do you think the Mets will win the series? I hope so. Honestly, my lack of optimism, unfortunately, still believes the Mets are going to split the series 2-2. I hope they win. If the Mets win the next 2 games and win this series, and by God, I'm going out, I'm celebrating this weekend. And that isn't just because I'm going out of town doing a little bit of a road trip. It really is because I will actually have enjoyment for a weekend, something that I feel like I haven't had in months end covering this team this year. And no, I'm not exaggerating. I'm really not. And Senga's tomorrow. Awesome. Looking forward to that. But so we went over the numbers. Now let's talk about another positive because it is June 27th. Why is that important, you might ask? It's because we are just a couple days away from announcing the winner of the Francisco Alvarez jersey giveaway. And all you have to do to enter said giveaway is by clicking the link in the live chat or in the comments down below, exclusively for people that watch a show after it's live, for people on replay. And that is by entering Wardy's unique Sorare MLB League. Again, Sorare MLB is the best MLB fantasy game out there to play. You sign up, you draft your team to same way that you draft and use unique NFT type cards. It's card collecting, but just virtual cards, right? To draft your team, and then you enter weekly tournaments. Again, you do not need to spend a dime if you do not want to. It's all up to you. And if you want to invest in your club on actually spend dollars on more unique, more rare, super rare, limited type cards, if not, you can have common cards and that's fine. Then you enter weekly tournaments and you play against myself and other fellow Mets fans in this awesome WardyNYM community, and doing so by signing up for free, by drafting your team, by entering weekly tournaments. You will be automatically entered for your chance at winning a Francisco Alvarez jersey, in which I'll be picking one lucky winner on the channel that you will see announced at the end of the month. And again, the only way you can enter is not just by you being a subscriber on the WardyNYM YouTube channel. You need to go a little bit out of your way by clicking the link in the live chat, signing up to Sorare MLB. I highly implore you to download the app. It's very easy to navigate your team and perform that way. Even though in the app you can't really enter the league. So I would just say do it through Safari or whatever on your computer, whatever it may be, through Google, doesn't matter. Sign up, you'll see Wardy's League, join it right away, draft your team, enter tournaments. By doing all those steps, you are automatically entered for your chance at winning the jersey. And the good news is that unlike the roughly 23,000 subscribers that we have here on the channel, there's only a couple hundred people that are currently entered in this. So your odds at winning this jersey are so much more great than, say, just being a subscriber and I do a normal channel giveaway that way. So if you want to enter and if you want better odds than ever as part of the WardyNYM community, this is the best way to do it. So make sure you enter today, and good luck to everybody. Again, it closes when the month of June has come to an end. So make sure you're chiming in now while you still have a chance. So getting back into this, what I wanted to touch on just briefly with you guys, aside from getting into our other great sponsors here shortly, is that we saw Billy Epler speak to the media today. Honestly, I don't really know how to feel about it. Low-key pisses me off just a little bit, mainly because it's like, okay, Steve Cohen goes out of his way today to tweet that I'm going to hold a presser prior to Game 3 of the series tomorrow, and you're going to hear it from me first. Like, you're going to finally hear, like, my true opinions and statements and potential changes, whatever it may be. And I don't know if this was directed purposely, that Cohen said, hey, Epler, I want you to go and speak to the media today, or if Epler felt inclined to do it. It's interesting timing that Billy decides to go out and talk to the media today when he knows his owner is tomorrow, and basically kind of shut down any potential belief that fans would have. And would any drastic changes be made? Is Buck out of here? I mean, are you out of here, Billy? Billy knows his ass is on the hot seat a little bit. And I know if you talked with him off air, he would probably be feeling that way. I mean, you cannot be feeling good about constructing a roster at over a $360 million payroll, 400 plus, including taxes, and still being 7 games below 500 right now. Like, it cannot feel good. And this guy, former New York native, grew up a Mets fan, and cough, cough, Milwaukee Brewer organization guy, I don't know, David Stearns, right? That we talked a lot about for the past year and a half. He's likely going to be available at the end of the season. So I know Billy feels like he's got people nipping at his heels, as he should. So he went out today. He said, that the Mets are really trying to basically troubleshoot their pitching woes, that Hefner is working on things with different horizontal movement and all this shit, and pardon my French, but, they're trying to find these short-term fixes, when in reality, those short-term fixes will only take them so far. They just need to get on a roll. If they do not get on a roll, they're going to get nowhere. Buck spoke today, too, saying, aspirations are obviously the only way that we will be happy this year, or content even, is if we make playoffs and go from there. He's like, I haven't thought about anything else, and I appreciate that. But I'm really curious to just see what Cohen is going to say tomorrow. As I stated in my video that came out earlier today discussing on this matter briefly, I think Cohen is going to come out and kind of sympathize with the fellow fans, including myself and you guys watching right now live or on replay, basically saying, I feel your frustration. I see it daily. I, too, am frustrated. I'm not happy with the results. This is certainly not going to get the job done. And while I don't foresee a drastic change in coaching to really impact anything, we are definitely evaluating everything as we speak. We're evaluating what we want to do leading up to the trade deadline. I'm not going to say and commit that we're going to be sellers per se, because we still want to try to give this a run. And if it doesn't work, then we'll see what we do from there. I think Cohen is going to kind of say what we all expect him to say. So, if he goes out tomorrow and says, yeah, Buck's ass is out of here, I will be just as shocked as the next guy. I do not anticipate that happening. But it is imperative to still hear from the owner himself, a guy who has invested just over the past year alone in total contracts. He's invested 5, 6, 7, north of $800 million effing dollars. And I know that might be pocket change to a man with a net worth of $17 billion. But the point stands. This is his baby. This is his organization. He's a diehard Mets fan. He's a down-to-earth human being when it comes to trying to appreciate the fan base for what it is and trying to relate to them and really trying his best to put out the best possible product while not hurting the farm in this real 3 to 5 year stage, if you will, and being a consistent contender while still building the farm. It's not an easy thing to do. You can throw out dollars, but that doesn't automatically equal success. So we're seeing these frustrations and these holes be brought to light this season now more than ever. So again, I'm just really interested to see what Cohen's going to have to say. But more than anything, I just appreciate the fact that, again, this is a guy that certainly cares. He's made it abundantly clear. I know it's cut off, but I have a photo on my wall when I had the privilege of meeting Steve back in January, and that's when I asked him about Correa, and that decided to go viral just because no media member had the chance to ask about a Correa update since when the Mets initially signed him when Cohen was in Hawaii, just for that to fall through. We all know that story now. Point being is, when I had the privilege of meeting Cohen, you could just tell how much he appreciates the fans, because he took his entire day just talking with anyone and everyone and not skipping a beat and not being rude to anyone, nothing like that, and answering genuine questions, and in return asking questions too. And there's just something about him, and I'm not trying to come off as a bootlicker or anything like that. I hate that people say that. Just God forbid you're actually in favor of your team's owner, right? I know it feels so hard to comprehend because most of us, especially New York fans, hate the owners of our club, especially if you're a Knicks fan with Mr. Dolan, right? It just, if you're a Nets fan, the same applies with your owner. Like, the list goes on and on. A lot of fans in the New York space are not fans of owners of said club. However, Cohen's different. I mean, just the fact that I had conversations with him, told him who I was, and he was asking me questions on, exactly what I do and what that has been like. Like, those little things go a long way. I think the same can be said with him going out of his way to do a presser tomorrow to really just lay the law of the land, whatever that is going to be, whether that's going to be just more regurgitated BS that Epler said today, or whether that's going to be something more. I mean, we will soon find out, but regardless, it's nice to know that we have an owner that at least does give a damn and is willing to speak up when things are not going well, and not just be a guy to, only act out and speak out when things are going right. So again, those things go a long way in my opinion. And I'm really, really curious to see how this will all unravel tomorrow. And again, depending on how this goes from the discussion that he has to what is going to be the aftermath, I may have to do a live show or even a video in a car tomorrow because I got a road trip tomorrow. So we'll see. Not a terribly long drive, but I don't know when Cohen is planning to do this presser. Holy shit, Borna, stop texting me. Hogwatch, you see this? Hog keeps spamming me. He's like, I just streamed. It's 4:33 a.m. Oh my God. Can you please email me? Okay, I will. All right. Well, after I stream. Shout out to Hog, by the way. I don't know if any of you guys know Hogwatch. He is literally me 2.0, but covers the Padres. Over 10,000 subscribers. Congratulations, Hog. Just the first of many milestones for you. You absolute beauty. Him and I have collabed in the past. He's a really, really good friend of mine and business partner. I will be in San Diego with him later next week. So when the Mets are in SD, your boy's going to be there. So we can't wait to watch the battle of mid. Two of the biggest payrolls in baseball battle it out just to still be below 500. I know. Aren't you as highly anticipated for this as I am? But in all seriousness, really looking forward to that. And Hog, I will get back to you. Go Mets. I will. Go. Hog, go to bed. Why are you up? It's 4:30 in the morning where you are. You're crazy. All right, guys, let's get into our next great sponsor here on the channel. And that is, again, for New Jersey residents only. For those that aren't aware, we got our good friends here at Mojo Sportsbook. And for those that don't know what Mojo Sportsbook is, it is combining the stock market with players. If you're wondering what that means, is think of Robinhood app. Think of other things where you can day trade or invest long-term on companies. Now combine that with actual athletes. So instead of investing in Apple, you can invest in Pete Alonso. You can invest in Brett Beatty. You can invest in Francisco Alvarez on real dollars that you can spend or flip however fast you want. And you can also do various things from player props, K-props, all your type of betting needs is what they have. Again, they are the stock market type sportsbook app based out of New Jersey. Let's talk briefly about Mojo Sportsbook for all my New Jersey residents out there that are currently listening. Every bet on Mojo offers live trading so you can get in and get out of the game all game long. It's stock trade meets sports betting with, as I said, money lines, player props, and a whole new career-long bet they created. The best part about this, which I certainly appreciate, is that you're in total control of your bets. You know when you're doing a bet, say, on other sites, not going to name them because they're not a sponsor, right? So they don't get the free shout out. But when you're on other sites, and you're trying to do your bets and you really want to to cash out because you're happy about where you're at and you're just not getting a good cash out option, or you're not getting a cash out option at all, this is where Mojo Sportsbook truly separates themselves from the rest. You can cash in when you're up, or you can cash out if it's going bad. Mojo's cash outs are available way more than any other sportsbook. Get the app now by downloading the App Store and using my promo code WardyNYM for a 20% deposit match up to $100. Again, that is promo code WardyNYM, WARDYNYM, for a 20% deposit match up to $100 by clicking the link in the description of the live show. And shout out to Mojo Sportsbook, as always, for being a great sponsor on the channel. And appreciate you guys chiming in and listening to that. Really does mean, guys, we're going old school today. We are wearing the Schmuck shirt. We're wearing the Schmuck shirt today. Yes, you heard that correctly. You know, with a former network who will not be named, but we're wearing the Schmuck shirt. We got to get the merch line back out there. I'm partnered with the 7 line, and we haven't even done a merch line yet. Like, what in God's name is wrong with me? You know, aside from the Mets being a steaming pile, you know what, for the majority of the season. So I got to talk with Darren. We got to figure that out, not only for me, but for Joe, for Anthony Recker, my co-host. We got to get that rolling for sure. Let's see this. Chalk, any truth to the rumor that you're phasing out your Mets podcast and phasing in podcasts the San Francisco Giants? And no, Chalk. Here's the thing. If I ever decide to cover another team, I wouldn't cover a team that doesn't have a big market. And I know that the San Francisco Giants have a big following, but if I just decide to be, instead of WardyNYM, WardySF right now, it wouldn't gain the same traction because the Giants are mid. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have that type of market presence. Like, this isn't the Barry Bonds San Francisco Giants. This isn't the Madison Bumgarner and Buster Posey San Francisco Giants. It's different. Honestly, if I had no bias whatsoever, and say I wasn't a Mets fan, and I just wanted to prioritize what would be the best for a revenue aspect and just being appreciative of the game of baseball, if I was not a Mets fan, a couple teams that I would first look at for marketability would quite honestly be the Yankees, the Braves, and I'm trying to think, there's at least like 2 more teams. Possibly the Blue Jays, because they take over an entire country. So that market can really be dominated. And trying to think if there's any other, like, really Dodgers, that's it. All teams that I pretty much hate for the most part, right? But the reality is that they have big fan followings and they have a really good, understandable market. So something that I will never do, because I despise all those teams aside from the Blue Jays, and I can never flip my Mets fan, and it doesn't matter how much grief and pain they put me through. But for a strict monetary aspect and still like wanting to cover baseball as a whole, those are the type of clubs I would look at right away, for sure. And I think most would agree. You got to look for big market. That's why when I see people that actually cover like the Tampa Bay Rays, the Oakland A's, I mean, I commend the absolute hell out of you guys. I'm grateful that even though the Mets may give me heartbreak, they're in such a big market, so I reach such an awesome and, explosive following. New York is New York, right? It's unprecedented. You can't compare it to something else. It's the best when it comes to sports fandom. It might be the worst, it might be the best all at the same time. But there's so many small market clubs that have, their niche content creators, and I appreciate them a lot, because that's not an easy thing to do, because the market, the ability to expand, to get the exposure you're looking for is so unbelievably difficult. Let's see. Wardy, I like you now, but I'll be damned if I sit here and let you give me that bad advice. Okay. Let's see. Wardy Oakland A's. Who says no? There it is. Wardy LAD. Yeah. The day I convert to Wardy Dodgers is the day that I sold my soul to the devil. So would be fitting considering I'd be going to LA, right? But point still stands. All right, let's get out of jokes just for a minute. Let's talk about something that wasn't a joke, thankfully. That was this Metropolitan win tonight. So you got the offensive production from Lindor. He's batting really sharp from the left side of the plate. That's important. This is a guy that has definitely struggled. He's been batting right around or under 200 from the left side of the plate. He's now hit 8 home runs for the left side of the plate this year. That's huge. For the right side of the plate, he's definitely had a lot of success against lefties this year, but hopefully we get more of that balance. Brandon Nimmo balling out the way he did, as we mentioned already. Tonight's player of the game, first player of the game in what feels like, honestly, a month on the channel. I certainly appreciate that. Danny effing Burgers, or, as they would say, Danny effing Burgers, like something like that. I know I couldn't do it enough justice, or Hoagie Vogie, as I like to call him. He really balled out today too. Just a lot of nice offensive production, and damn is it sweet to just have offensive production while also having pitching. They just have not been the same. Wardy, Texas Rangers are a fun team. They would be fun to cover for sure, and I know I would get enjoyment out of it. And funny enough, I would be covering a team that would have arguably the best pitcher on the planet, still on the shelf for the next year and a half, and DeGrom. So it really wouldn't be much different, if I'm being honest on that front. But Lindor's hitting 210 from the left side. Baby steps, exactly. He was batting like 190 something last time I checked. So yeah, a lot has changed. Not drastic, and I know it's hard to build that batting average up when you're really a gap-to-gap, a slugging hitter this year, in which Lindor has been with this swing. However, at least what we can say about Lindor is that while he hasn't been consistent with his bat when it comes to the contact hitting, he certainly has been there on the power threat, the offensive production as a whole. He has over 50 RBI stakes this year, right? He has the home runs. That's all great. He's on pace to give you 30 bombs and 100 RBIs this year. Not complaining with that in the slice. Would like to see more of the contact there, but overall, Lindor, I'm not like overly mad or concerned with. Did McNeil have a hit tonight? Yes, he had an opposite infield single hit today, is what Jeff has. And Jeff is still struggling mightily. I really hope he snaps out of it soon. I really think that not having a shift this year has been his biggest issue, truly. I think the fact that there hasn't been that hole on the third base side, he hasn't had incentive to poke it the other way like he did so well last year and in years past. No shift has allowed Jeff to have the mindset of, okay, I can go and pull the ball the way I normally do. But the issue is that even when he's doing that, he's not getting the success rate that he was initially expecting. McNeil, as we sit right now, holy shit, Jeff is batting 257 with a 660 OPS. I thought he was still at least 270 right now. Oh my God. That's and I love Jeff. I literally love Jeff. I had the privilege, Jeff and his PR team, they invited me to his charity event 2 weeks ago. That was so awesome. So grateful to meet him, interviewed him, met Alonso briefly too. But as much as I love the guy, and I truly do, he's struggling. He's struggling mightily. And this is easily the worst I feel like we've seen Jeff struggle since 2021, post-hamstring injury. That's not. Let's look up real quick. Now I'm curious, and then we'll get to wrapping things up soon. Listen to this stat from Anthony DeComo. The Mets are 22-3 when their starting pitching goes at least 6 innings. They're 14-40 this year when that does not happen. Yeah, it's almost like pitching is the most important thing for this club. They will go as far as their pitching takes them, right? Color me shocked, I know. I do want to look this up real quick on that front. Hold on. Jeff McNeil stats. Let's look at his splits. Are we on Mars? The Mets won. Holy moly. I know, Yoshima. Thank you for the dono, the $2 holla. I appreciate that. Hype in the chat to you. But hold on. I got to look at his splits real quick. Sorry I didn't have it pulled up because I didn't think I was going to talk about it, but now here I am. Holy shit. Okay. Show months. In June. Oh my God, Jeff. In April and March, McNeil batted roughly 300 with an 831 OPS. In May, he batted 280 with a 620 OPS. In June, the June swoon has hit Jeff like an effing truck. He is batting, prior to tonight's game most likely, a 180 average, a 264 OBP, a 244 slug for a 508 OPS. Oh my God. That is crazy. That's James McCann numbers. Jeff needs an off day. I don't know if he's gone one recently or not, but he needs an off day. The Mets need to give him a little bit of a mental break like they did with Vogelbach. That's what I honestly think that they should do. My goodness. I know that Jeff's been struggling, but I didn't know it was that bad. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, he needs some time out. He needs some time out. Win 10 in a row. Now with all the stuff I drink and smoke, I'm not that delusional to believe this team is capable of winning 10 in a row. The Mets haven't won more than 5 in a row this season. The Mets haven't, if my memory serves me correct, the Mets have not won more than 5 straight this season. Maybe 6 straight. But that's been it. Hi, Rory. Good morning from Estonia. My man Mike out there serving this country well. Thank you so much for chiming in, brother. I appreciate you and God bless. Woke up to the surprising news of Peterson's outing. Very happy for him. As am I. You're in Estonia. That's so cool. Again, hope you're doing well, my friend. For those that don't know, Mike, who does a great job serving our country, has been a very loyal supporter on the channel for a long time now. And I always appreciate when he chimes in because he's all over the place and in different time zones like crazy. But he's always going out of his way to chime in. So I appreciate that. Woody, $4 donation. I'm not getting any hopes up, but let's go Mets. Let's go Mets indeed. Yeah, no, that's about it, guys. We're going to be wrapping things up in a minute. But before we get out of here, bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that, beauties. All right, let's get back into it. So last but not least, our amazing sponsor, that is Manta Sleep. That all you got to do is click the link in the description to go to mantasleep.com and use my promo code WARDY for 10% off your purchase. Why would you do that, you might ask? Because we've had hundreds upon hundreds of amazing loyal Mets and even Braves fans on the channel that went out of their way to use the promo code and just use the promo code for the best sleep masks available out there on the market. Because they're not only the best, they're not only the most comfortable, but they're beyond affordable. And they have so many unique sleep masks that truly separate them from the rest. Again, I don't just pick any type of Joe Schmo product that I want to have on as a sponsor on the channel. So if you know I'm hyping something up, aside from them being, of course, a sponsor that I appreciate what they bring back to the channel, it is the fact that I appreciate their product. I've been using their Manta Sleep mask pretty much nightly for months on end now, and they have been nothing short of a pleasure, and I cannot wait to use them, especially when I'm going to have my lawn flight to San Diego later next week. So to tell you a little bit more about Manta Sleep, look at how happy she is with the Manta Sleep mask. If she's happy, I'm happy, and that's why you should be too, by checking out the sleep mask that we have below here. And one that I hype up a lot is the Manta Sound Mask, because again, say you're going on a flight, say there's a lot of turbulence, say there's a baby crying next to you, you want to block out all that nonsense. You throw on the sound mask, you listen to your favorite music. Maybe you're into heavier stuff. Maybe you want to listen to Slipknot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you want to listen to some Frank Sinatra. Maybe you want to listen to the latest stuff that you hear, whether that's from J. Cole, whether that's from Drake, or whether it's, even today's type of more, I don't even know if I want to call them indie, but one of my personal favorite bands, KG Elephant. Whoever you want to listen to and more, that's what you can do by putting on the Bluetooth sound mask. That is not only be uncomfortable, that's going to have that noise cancellation while you're playing your own music and sound, but also get blocking out the light and you getting the comfortable sleep or nap that you deserve. I personally have the Manta Sleep Mask Pro to the right, which is one of their best sellers, but then you see a lot of other really nice affordable options down below. They have a weighted mask I've heard a lot of great things about. They have a Manta Cool Mask, especially if you're a summer night and maybe you're staying up late watching the post-game show here on WardyNYM and you need a nice comfortable sleep still. You put on the Cool Mask and you have some nice cooling around the eye sockets and you sleep like a baby. Maybe, just maybe, you want the opposite. You want some steam around the eye sockets. That is where the Manta Steam Mask comes into play. So again, all sleep masks and everything beyond, they have for you by going to Manta Sleep, not Manta Sleep Mask, mantasleep.com, clicking the link in the description of this live show and using my promo code WARDY for 10% off your purchase. Again, that is promo code WARDY, W-A-R-D-Y, for 10% off your purchase. And shout out to Manta Sleep for being an amazing sponsor. And with that being said, guys, I'm heading the hay. I'm out of here. Sayonara. How you doing? I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Mets take game 2 of a 4-game set against the Milwaukee Brewers by a final score of 7-2. If I'm live tomorrow, I will be live on a ping pong table. Why? Because why the hell not? Your boy Wardy's going out of town for the weekend, so that's going to be fun. So again, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully they get another consecutive dub tomorrow. Let's see what Steve Cohen has to say in his presser. Maybe we'll be live or doing a recap video after that, in a car, in the back of a car. I don't know. We're going to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Mets look to continue their winning ways for more than just a 24-hour span. Until then, have a great rest of your night, day, evening, whenever you're watching this. And this is Wardy signing out. Thank you so much, folks.